All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I think we've all felt, that incredibly frustrating experience of self-sabotage. You know, when you want to do one thing, but you end up doing the exact opposite? Yeah, we're going to figure out how to finally put an end to that.
So why do we do this to ourselves? I mean, really, why do we betray our own best intentions? You know the drill, right? You set a goal. Maybe you're going to eat healthier, save more money, or finally tackle that big project. Your intention is crystal clear. But then, when it's time to actually do it, it's like some invisible force just yanks the wheel and steers you right off the road. You find yourself betraying your own best plans, again.
Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't your willpower. It's not that you lack discipline or that you're lazy. The good news? You're not weak or broken. The real problem is that you're caught smack in the middle of a civil war happening inside your own mind, and you probably didn't even realize a battle was being fought. So let's break down this mind at war. To really get a handle on this conflict, you've got to understand that your mind, it's not one single unified kingdom. Think of it more like a territory governed by two very different and often clashing powers, the general versus the army. Okay, so just look at this power dynamic. On one side, you've got your conscious mind. Let's call it the general. It's brilliant. It uses logic and willpower as its weapons. It's like a small elite special forces team. But, and this is a big but, it gets tired. Its energy runs out. And on the other side, you have the subconscious mind. This is the army. It is a vast, ancient force that runs entirely on emotion and habit. And here's the kicker. This army never, ever sleeps. And this brings us to the first, unbreakable rule of this inner war. In any direct conflict between these two, emotion will always beat logic, every single time. The general's cold, logical orders just can't compete with the army's deep-seated emotional habits. Think about it. Willpower is a calculated, cool force, but the subconscious is running on the raw, powerful energy of emotion. The army always has the upper hand. So that's the big question, right? If this subconscious army is so powerful, why does it seem to have these old, totally unhelpful orders in the first place? I mean, where did all this programming even come from? Well, the answer, believe it or not, goes all the way back to your childhood. Get this. For the first 7 years of your life, your brain was operating mostly in what's called a theta brainwave state. This is basically a state of hypnosis. You weren't analyzing the world or questioning things. You were just absorbing everything directly, like a little psychic sponge. And so, during this super receptive time, all those first programs got installed. Every repeated phrase you heard, like, money doesn't grow on trees. Every behavior you observed, like how your family handles stress. All the cultural messages from TV, school, they all became fundamental truths that were hardwired directly into your subconscious. These weren't just suggestions. They became the core code of your personal operating system, and a lot of them formed the voice of that inner critic we all know. Okay, so now we see how this programming gets in there. And it's so deep, it leads to a fundamental law of the mind. This law explains exactly why trying to fight your subconscious with brute force willpower, well, it's just a losing strategy. It's called the law of reversed effort. It was discovered by a French psychologist, and it's absolutely fascinating. Here's the gist. When your willpower and your imagination are in conflict, your imagination wins. Always. No exceptions. And the crazy part is, the harder you try to force it with your will, the worse it actually gets. Let me give you a perfect example. Imagine walking across a plank of wood on the floor. Easy, right? You don't even think about it. Your will and imagination are on the same page. But now, take that exact same plank and put it between two skyscrapers. Whoa! Your will to cross is still there, but what's your imagination doing? It's screaming at you with images of falling, right? That powerful imagery completely paralyzes you. That's the law of reversed effort in action. So you see, the key isn't to fight harder against your imagination. That's a losing battle. The real secret is to stop fighting and start speaking the native language of your subconscious, which is imagination. It's not just for daydreaming. Imagination is literally the workshop where the reality of your future is built. It's the master key. All right, so this is all great in theory, but let's get practical. How do we actually do this? How do we give our subconscious army a new, better set of orders, a battle plan that actually aligns with what we consciously want? The technique is called autosuggestion. And let me be clear, this is not just positive thinking or wishful thinking. It's a precise method for consciously choosing the seeds you want to plant in that fertile soil of your mind. You basically become your own programmer. But for these new orders to actually stick, they have to follow 4 critical rules. Think of it like a recipe. 1. Keep it simple and clear, short, direct commands. 2.
it has to be in the present tense. Not I will be, but I am. Your subconscious only gets the concept of now. 3, you have to add an emotional charge. You have to feel the emotion of it being true right now. And 4, persistence. You got to repeat it consistently.
And here's a little hack for when to do this. It's called the lullaby technique. The absolute best time to give these new orders is in that drowsy, relaxed state right before you fall asleep. Why? Because the general, your conscious mind, is off duty. Its guard is down. So when you gently repeat your new command then, it's like a lullaby that slips right past the gatekeeper and plants itself directly into your receptive subconscious.
Now, when you really start to practice this and get the hang of it, something amazing happens. That inner civil war, it ends. And you shift from being a soldier caught in the crossfire to becoming something way more powerful.
You stop being a soldier in an inner war, and you become the conductor of your mind's orchestra. Think about that. Instead of fighting with the musicians, the ones playing the tune of fear or doubt or procrastination, you learn to give them a new piece of music, a new score. You start directing all these different parts of yourself to create a beautiful symphony instead of just noise.
And that's when it really clicks. You realize that happiness and success and peace, they aren't destinations out there somewhere that you have to travel to. They're internal commands. They're the music that you, as the conductor, choose to play every single day, because you are the only one who has the power to choose the soundtrack of your own existence.
So, what symphony will you conduct? You're holding the baton. The question is no longer about winning some internal war. It's about what beautiful reality you're going to create. What's it going to be?